Hey, hi, you guys. How are you? It is Sunday, November 16th, 2025. I am answering your questions from the last live. There's the bell. I'm in my edits. The first question goes to Electra, and I did read on this question, but I've decided that the question is too sensitive for YouTube viewers, and I don't want it taken down. So I will just tell you that the answer is yes. And if any of you want to know what that question is, one of the first questions from the November 12th live that I did. That's a yes. Okay, Jessica, I had replied to you about this, but you asked, would you also look into whether Brennan is guilty of using the CIA to create the Russia hoax in 2016? Another YT creator was reviewing files released recently that proves this. My bias is so strong I can't accept this. I trust you, your cards, and pendulum, and astrology, which is all brought together through your sheer brilliance. Thank you so much. I read on this in 2019. I think there was even a video specific to Brennan himself and related also to the Russia. And then there was another one, I think John Huntsman, who was the ambassador to the Russia, who quit because I think he was so appalled at the disgustingness and perversion of what he got himself in the middle of. Show me Brennan. Part of the matter is the CIA. I just got, Tulsi is busily working to cover things up, make him a fall guy. The Russia 2016. Brennan relates to that. This. Let's at the foundation here. The Two of Cups. So these are agreements between people. The Seven of Swords. Theft, intelligence. Starting to see more intricate patterns of election stealing. Four of Swords reversed. This is often related to as software malware being dormant, things are hidden, and we've got another nation involved here with pentacles, data, information. So this is Brennan, the Queen of Wands. He's in charge of the CIA. So he heads up that agency, okay? This is 2016 Russia. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Ooh, look at that. So the Kremlin. And look at, we have this nation full of pentacles related to the Kremlin at the time. Here's the CIA investigating what's going on here, okay? So we have Brennan, the CIA to the Russia, the Two of Pentacles, balancing information. In fact, I see this as information going back and forth, and being very delicate in how he's managing these things. The Kremlin coming back to his investigations. We have the No reversed. So the No card isn't that they didn't do something. The No card is a cover-up. And he's trying to uncover the cover-up. So who's the point person here that he is finding? There's the bell. I'm in my edits. I find this absolutely fascinating. So if we tie the pentacles to the Kremlin, and if we tie cups to Americans, we have Brennan looking at the conversations, the cover-up between information coming in with the Kremlin and Americans. He's keeping it under wraps. The agreement with the Kremlin and who was the American at the basis of this is trying to end this, getting to the bottom of this and the attack on our elections. Did Brennan abuse the CIA to create the 2016 hoax? Did Brennan use the CIA? No, because here's the thing. If you go back, we didn't know about what was going on. Remember, it was it Papadopoulos who got drunk and informed an Aussie legislator under the influence about how they were trying to get Hillary's emails. And also recall that the Steele dossier actually began with the Republican Party. And that is where a lot of the information came from. So, no, Brennan did not have anything to do with that. And this is not a hoax. It's been ongoing and keeps going on. Patty, yeah, I'm just going to acknowledge what you're saying here. She says, I keep thinking about Bad Company's pinned tweet as I'm laying this all out. Yes, that's exactly what it is and has been all this time. If you think about it, this is why they're so upset about Mamdani winning the mayorship of New York City, because they will no longer be able to cover things up. And their power there has just evaporated. Carolyn, speaking of blowing up, Trump is blowing up boats in the Caribbean because he thinks they are the wrong cartel. He does support the Sinaloa. Colombia called him an international criminal. Okay, where's the original question? Carolyn, I cannot find your question, but I do want to address this whole thing about why he's bombing things. I've been looking at my terrascopes, and the best that I'm getting at is they're going off as, number one, to send a message about the connections to 2016, the whole thing that's going to bring down this administration. It's like every time they get a new piece of information, they go and bomb something. And it's also, in my humble opinion, to come across that they're crazier. Don Julio's crazier than KJU, so nobody's going to retaliate. And I get the feeling, too, Venezuela does not want to retaliate, because what is that going to get them? It's going to get them more problems. So they see the advantage as laying low and having the support of the international community. And slowly, that every single time he bombs something, they come out with more information. In fact, okay, so this is going to be a way in which more information is going to be coming out internationally. Like I've always said, Don Julio sabotages himself. He goes overboard and can't pull back, and then it always bites him in the arse. Oh, Jules, okay, so I had replied to your comment. You said you wanted me to read on 10-7, and if Don Julio and Bibi planned the attack together to influence Gen Z voters against JB. BN went to Mar-a-Lago, and I said yes. That was like one of the very first things that I gleaned about that whole attack. I said early on it was all about the election, and they needed something to grab the attention of the voters. And this would lay the course for what was going to happen in the upcoming year. The timing of it, when you look at the bigger elections, it's like a party has to start establishing the roots of their campaign to get everyone to come to their side. And I was wondering how they were going to use it against young adults, Gen Z. And by the time it happened in the spring, this is what was so devastating for me, were all the protests on college campuses. And I'm like, oh my God, both my kids are in college. And to be a parent to watch that and know that the whole purpose is to radicalize them was so upsetting. And still, you know that it's still an ongoing thing to campaign on, because things happen here and there with Gaza. It's like they are still trying to provoke people, rattle their saber, say, look at this atrocities, come on our side. And then, you come on their side and then they don't do anything about it. It's just still more bullshittery. Okay. Did Donald know ahead of time that October 7th was going to happen? Yep. And, I've gotten that there were Republicans that knew ahead of time, because none of them were in Israel the weekend that it happened, while we had 3 to 7 Democrats there. Did the Republican Party know not to travel to Israel, that area, the weekend of October 7th? Yep. Was October 7th the reason to sway Gen Z voters to Donald? Yep. It's all connected. And then, of course, and ultimately, to build luxury condos, waterfront condos, like Jared implied. Yep. It's all so very sinister.